Morning, everybody. How we doing? Sam for United People's TV, and this feels like it's going to be a good Monday. I'm not sure if you get the same feeling. Just how I'm feeling. We are going to be speaking about that game against Arsenal yesterday, the performance, the individual performance, but overall, really, the team, collective performance against adversity, against the referee, against the fact that we went down to 10 men for 60 minutes. United put in an absolutely battling performance against Arsenal, and that is the only reason that we won that game. Zirkzee with the winning penalty. Bayindir, man of the match. Heroic from him. There is so much that I've got to run through. This might be a record for the amount of tabs I've got open. I've spent the last hour and a half trying to get this show ready because there is so much to jam-pack into it. You're going to fire in your comments and your questions, and I'm going to try and speak to as many of you as I possibly can. But enjoy the show, and let's get straight into it. Let me see who's here from the mod and the member gang, and let's have a chat about the Arsenal game. Actually, before I start that, you know what's great? To see Arsenal fans back arguing amongst themselves. Arteta out, this and that. You crappy little football club, you crappy little fan base. And I struggled this morning on the podcast to decipher between which fans I find more insufferable, Liverpool or Arsenal fans. I really genuinely struggled. I think Liverpool fans just pipped it. But Arsenal fans, enjoy being Arsenal again. Bye-bye. Go away. Anyway, right. Can see who's here from the Modern Member Gang. Thank you very much, Time Potato, Garlic Bread Man. The Food Army is out here gifting memberships. Legends to both of you. Aiden, let's have a look at what we got. Mods here. We've got Alex and Carl. We've got Ant. Good morning to you, buddy. Stephanie, nice to see you there. Josh, how you doing, man? And members, we've got Akash, JC. Nice to see you, buddy. You weren't here last week. Disappearing. Hope you had a nice time. Jason, Bright, Teresa. Lots of new faces. Lots of regular faces. Let's talk about the game, all right? Let's talk about the game. I felt exhausted at the end of that game. I felt exhausted at the end of 90 minutes and even more exhausted at the end of extra time. Delo? I'm looking at you, Diogo. And absolutely, I call it brain dead. It's a ridiculous professional decision from Diogo Dalot to go down for that slide tackle, want a yellow card, man. You just don't do it. You simply do not do it. But this is a team now in back-to-back games against Liverpool at Anfield and Arsenal at the Emirates, where we have, from the first whistle to the last whistle, played as an absolute collective. JC, I can see you down there coming back and gifting 20. Legend. One for each of every title. Hopefully 21 at some point soon. Now, I said this after the game, right? And I meant it. If these players, right? If these players play like they did yesterday, and I can only speak about myself here as a fan, how I view Manchester United and view Manchester United's players. If they play like they did yesterday, I'll happily go into any argument with anybody to defend them. I'll put my neck out. I will happily do that if the players played like that yesterday. And you know what? That is exactly what Ruben Amorim said after the game. If they play like this, I will defend them and the team will improve. Can you remember how bad we were in these games against top six teams, certainly away from home, over these last few years? And in Ruben Amorim's first 15 games, we've now gone to City and scored an 88th minute equaliser and a 90th minute winner to win 2-1. We've gone to Anfield, where we were completely written off in that game. Everybody, myself included, was expecting the worst. And we battled to a 2-2 draw. And then we go to Arsenal. And I think given Arsenal's form, I would say it was quite 50-50. But United, look, it was, I would say they were probably just about favourites. And we played with 10 men for 60 minutes and won on penalties. That's Arsenal, Liverpool and City away. That's it. Right there. Listen to this from Bayindir, by the way, on Ruben Amorim.
Every day talking with us, and he wants to help us. And we love him, and he's always trying to do his best. And he have a very good relationship with the players. And we are trusting him, he is trusting us. We are fighting together. He wants to help us every day working. He is working for this.
You heard it there from Bayindir. We love him. And you've heard it from me plenty of times. And it is not difficult to explain what Ruben Amorim wants to do with this team. It's not to say that we expected him to be able to do it with the players that he's got, but what we have seen in these last two games is something to really hold on to, something to really genuinely build on. And we built on it, by the way. I was worried about, what we saw against Liverpool was great, but typically what this United team has showed us over the recent history is that if they take a step forward, they're probably going to take 2 steps back very quickly. It felt like they were doing that in the game yesterday with the red card, conceding straight after, then giving a penalty away. But it was different. It feels like United have the opportunity to genuinely use this as a shift in direction. And it's all because of Ruben Amorim. The players, clearly, I'll go back to what he said there. They're believing in what Ruben is telling them. Because he's correct. And he's always been correct. But he's getting... You know what? We go back to it, right? I'll say this. What did I say was the single most important thing for Ruben Amorim? I said he wouldn't be successful at Manchester United as a manager unless he had this. Type it in the comments and I'll read it out. Michael, you're saying Sam Maguire is exceptional. I'll speak about Maguire. I'll speak about De Ligt, Ugarte, Collier. So many of them. I'll speak about those a little bit later. Individuals. We're focusing just on the team right now. Sorry. Natasha saying proud of the team. They played for each other and the manager yesterday, even though obstacles were thrown at us all the way through the game. Yep, they were. It was properly against adversity in that game yesterday. Bingo. Dera, Billington, Rinky Dink, LS, you're all saying the same thing. Carl, Lax, Bayern. Bayern was the most important thing. Ruben Amorim has proven himself to be able to turn a football club around in Portugal. Sure, the scale is nowhere near the same as Sporting and United. That's not what I'm saying. But he's proven on a human level that he can manage players to level up collectively, to mentally flip and switch and improve. But that only happens with Bayern. What we're seeing here now is Bayern from these players. I'll tell you what, this is the perfect example of it. I was going to mention this a little bit later, but this right here is exactly what I mean. 90th minute. United are chasing the winner against Arsenal. Harry Maguire's up at the back post, trying to win the header. Bruno Fernandes flicks the ball in. Maguire wins it. United lose the ball here. David Raya has got the ball. Look how many players we've got in the box. We've got Maguire over there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players up. What would happen previously with United in this situation in particular? We get spanked on the transition. But look what happens. From this position here, everybody head down. Ahmad, Collier, De Ligt, Ugarte, Zirkzee, even what's Martinez doing? Anyway, look how everybody sprints back. We've got 9:04 on the clock here. Well, 90:04 on the clock there. And 10 seconds later, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 players behind the ball. You've got Zirkzee, Ugarte. Is that Bruno? 7 players to Arsenal's 4. That, ladies and gentlemen, is buying. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a team that is grafting, is a team that is working. And it's basic. I know it's basic. But shit me, when you haven't seen it for so long at United, it frustrates you. That is what this team is doing. Now that they are listening to Ruben Amorim, now that they are believing in Ruben Amorim, because proof is in the pudding. Neither of those two results against Liverpool or Arsenal happen unless these players graft for it, right? And Ruben's saying this after the game. Again, this is something that, as football fans, as United fans, we've said this for so long. You know, these players should consider themselves lucky to play for Manchester United, but it's not been how they've played. They've just not played as a football team for so long. They may have played as footballers, but not as a team. All right? And I'll go through one more thing here before I go down to the comments, all right? Ruben Amorim after the game saying, look, it's clear that we're improving, but he keeps reiterating that word. This feels like, if I was going to go for a Ruben Amorim buzzword right now, I would probably go for suffering. Keeps talking about how these players need to be better at suffering on the pitch when adversity strikes, when Delo gets a red card, when you get a penalty against you for a complete fucking dive. Being able to deal with these situations better mentally in games is a big thing. Bruno Fernandes after the game talking about how United will suffer. Bruno Fernandes representing exactly on the pitch what his manager is telling the players off the pitch. That wasn't a classic United-Arsenal game from the point of view of quality on the ball. We still need so much more going forward, right? We're nowhere near the finished article. No one's suggesting that. But what's the point in building a roof extension when your foundations are crumbling? What's the point in putting the finishing touches and all the lovely furniture? My crappy house analogy I've got in my head now. But the foundations have been crumbling of this football club for so long. And what you've seen in these last two games, that's the foundations. A real collective team performance. That is how you build. Use that as the cornerstone going into these next 5 games, by the way. We've got Southampton, we've got Brighton, we've got Rangers, we've got Steaua Bucharest, we've got... I don't know who the other one is. Either way, you look at the games we've got ahead and what we've just done, fuck, man, you've got an opportunity here, a genuine opportunity to make this not a false dawn, but a turn, a shift upstairs. Baby steps. I think it was kind of more than baby steps these last 2 games, by the way. I think it'd be a bit unfair to call those performances against Liverpool at Anfield and Arsenal at the Emirates baby steps. Just personal opinion. Now, I want to quickly take a step back here to say, Ezra, thank you so much, my man. Well, everybody in the community should be saying thank you because he's dropped 50 gifted memberships. I've got too many windows open here. It's all going a bit doolally. Thank you very much. I'm trying to go here. I'm trying to open that to get you a link to drop the Discord. I should have just asked a mod to do it, but instead I'm doing it all myself because I'm an idiot. Right. Can you all please jump on the Discord? I'm going to be... I keep saying... can I admit something here myself? I will. I'm very much struggling right now mentally today. I feel like... You know how people say like mental health is like taboo? There's been a lot of adversity that's happened to me in these last couple of weeks. The hacking really hit me hard. And I'll be honest, there's more happening behind the scenes on the channel. There's more damage that's been done, which I'm still trying to undo. So I'm trying to deal with that, with all the content and everything that's going on. So yeah, just want to say that. Never be afraid to speak to people, right? Because I was fine dealing with it myself until I spoke to loads of friends who made me realise everything that's gone on. But yeah, just wanted to say that. A big up to the community for being here as well. Legends. Tom, you're gifting 20. Shaq's gifting 10. Jeez. Everyone's getting involved today. But That win almost felt. Who am I kidding? If we went to the Emirates and we spanked them 6-0, yeah, man, I'd love that. But going into enemy territory and winning in the way that we did against, right? I'm not sure I've seen a worse refereeing performance. I'm sure there has been in the course of time, but I mean, who cares? I'm just speaking about this one. That was outrageous from that ref yesterday. From the smaller decision, it wasn't even that small a decision. Booking Bruno for Jesus, like sprinting 20 yards into the back of him and standing on the back of his heel and taking his boot off. To then give a free kick against Martinez like a minute and a half later for a tackle where he got a touch of the ball. You're thinking, what are you doing? But those were the kind of smaller decisions. And then the bigger decisions, the penalty. Havertz, first of all, you are a crap striker. How on earth, like, I know that Man United have made some bad transfers. So who am I to talk? But how on earth Mikel Arteta looked at Kai Havertz and said, we need a striker. There's 65 million to spend on a player who is quite literally not a striker. It's just a strange and odd decision. But that refereeing performance was, look, you know what that refereeing performance did? It made me want VAR. And do you know how bad that is? Because VAR, I want to slap that upside the head. That's how bad he was. He made me miss VAR. So for United to come through with a win against that was big. Like after that, like, look, right, I want to pull this up. United's admin yesterday, by the way. Little round of applause. There's something that United have just failed to do when it comes to social media for a long time is show any sort of personality. I think United have been so afraid as a brand to step into anything that might cause ruffle a few feathers. They've changed this year. I mean, it's not something mega, but you know what it feels like? It feels like they might have a fan running the account. Whereas previously, they may have been a fan, but it feels like United's social team are getting a bit more brave. And you have to be in the social landscape to connect with fans. You have to be. So credit to them for doing that. But yesterday, right, saw this bit. By the way, big up Ugarte. I love Ugarte. I really do. But Ugarte, you saw this going around. All right? Oh, Ugarte headbutting. Yeah, so do you want to talk about the fact that Havertz had his hands round Ugarte's neck and choked him 3 seconds before that wasn't even mentioned anywhere? Oh, well, you don't want to mention that. Oh, that's handy. That's very, very handy. Man, Havertz, all-time stinker yesterday. But that dude, Ugarte. I love that. I think he's quoting himself. I think he's quoting himself there, isn't he? There was an interview that Ugarte did previously where he said that exact same line. When we have the ball, it's a game. When we don't, it is a fight. It feels... I've mentioned this in the podcast this morning, that there's a little bit of Ander Herrera about Ugarte. But I felt that Ander Herrera was more like a number 8. Somebody who was a bit more interested in passing and possession and bringing the ball forward. And he was good at it. Also had a little bit of a dirty side as well, and I loved that. But Ugarte is a defensive monster. His interest is literally having the ball. And if I don't have the ball, then I need to get the ball off you because it's a problem. All right? My team doesn't have the ball. And that South American fight and spirit is what you're starting to see. I've seen people doing that, saying Roy Keane-ish. I'm like, calm your boots, people, calm your boots. But this is like, did we ever replace Roy Keane? I don't think you can ever replace Roy Keane. Did we ever replace Paul Scholes? I don't think you can replace Paul Scholes. But having somebody in the middle of the pitch who genuinely seems offended when his team doesn't have the ball and is prepared to fight for it makes the world of difference to the mentality and approach of all the players around him. It's infectious. Ugarte's attitude, I think, is rubbing off on these players in the same way that Amorim's is as a manager, but you need people on the pitch who represent that. And we all knew that Ugarte was going to be somebody who understood Amorim's football. Of course he did. He's played it at Sporting before. Tactically, you don't need to tell me anything, Ruben. I know exactly what you want me to do. But I think he's impacting other people in a positive way on the pitch. Because then when you got the example of that, if you're not following that example, you're going to be casted to the sideline. Casemiro didn't come on yesterday. It was Toby Collier in the 80th minute. You think that's a coincidence? No. In the 80th minute, in that game, in that environment, in that moment, with extra time looming, Amorim valued the energy and the movement and the dynamism of Collier over the experience of Casemiro. And it was a correct decision. Things are changing at this football club. Mate, Akash, I can see he gifted 10 memberships down there, dude, as well. And JC, sorry, I've been ill for 2 weeks as well. Man, the start of this January has been relentless. I will tell you that. There is way more that I can't tell you as well. But JC, you gifted 50 memberships on top of 20. Welcome back, dude. Welcome back indeed. Legend. Absolute legend. Collier was fantastic. I'm going to go back to what I said at the start of the show, by the way. There's still so much I need to speak about. I'm fully prepared to just defend these players now. You know me on this channel, right? I will always take the half glass full approach. I will defend players. I will try and take an optimistic angle. Sometimes when there's darkness you could grab onto if you wanted to. Oh, I was the first person to call this player for being crap. Look at me. Gold star for me. Piss off. You're more interested in your own self-serving approach rather than what is good for the team. I don't care about that. I get it wrong quite a lot. Fine. Who cares? They're opinions. You can't ever get held for an opinion. Be consistent. You can change your opinion over time because new evidence presents itself. And that bloke right there, Harry Maguire, is the definition of that, by the way. Let's go and start speaking about a few individuals. Right? And I'm going to start off by speaking about him. I think there was a couple of super chats sent in. Let me not miss these. I'll quickly read those out before I speak about Maguire. I'm going to speak about some individuals here as well. Tyrell, you're saying brilliant move from Amorim to put Mazraoui on the right. Malacia put Sterling in his pocket. Yeah, that was an interesting one, wasn't it? Because at half-time, Mazraoui and Dalot switched, and then it ended up being Dalot on the right, and then Dalot got sent off, and then Mazraoui went back onto the right, and Malacia, to his credit, he played well when he came on. And you're saying Amorim won't tolerate hiding. Ineos are willing to sell anyone. The players have been outed now, and they are playing for their United future. Yeah, it feels like the boss has come home, and I keep saying this, like, whenever I've done it so many times in different jobs, man, and so have you as well. As soon as your boss leaves the room, you're like, go on then, pull up Sporkle, do a little quiz, have a little chat, don't really do much work. The boss comes in, emails. As soon as you get supervised, boom, you're back on. These players have just been so comfortable in getting away with what they want. They can't do that anymore. And you're starting to see that on the pitch. Robin, big up to you, saying we're all with you, Sam. Thank you, man. I think it's just... I'll take another quick second to say this. When you are lucky enough to have a platform the size and the community that we've got here, I should be able to speak about things that maybe put me in a vulnerable position, because then if there's somebody else who's watching around the world who maybe is in a similar situation themselves, but they don't want to speak up, and they look at what I do and they go, well, if Sam can do it, and so can I. It's exactly why I did the video about my surgery. It's exactly why I speak about mental health on here. I think it's so important. And yeah, it's been a hard start to this year. There's something going on, me physically, personally, starting with a PT. I've had illness. I've had the hacking and the damage from the hacking. I've got a tenant that I've had to go to court over, who's an absolute A-grade. Oh my God, I've never met a more despicable human in my life. And I'm still dealing with that. It's a dispute that's been going on nearly 2 years. Trying to buy a house, that's fallen through. There's quite a lot. Rex, you're saying people chatting about Rashford's crazy wages when Havertz is on 280k a week. Ross saying, anyone else notice Martinez up top at the end? Yeah, Martinez was having a good time here. But look, can we just talk about... I mean, Bayindir was man of the match yesterday, right? Bayindir was man of the match. And deservedly so. But boy. Harry Maguire. I'm telling you now, the team in the background, we are definitely going to start working on a video about Harry Maguire. I've criticised him so much on this channel, and I did it with chest and with energy because I felt it was deserved. It was never personal with Maguire, it was professional. And I thought from a professional perspective as United captain, he let himself down badly and he was the face of it. And I thought he deserved that criticism at the time. And with that exact same energy, Maguire deserves all the praise for how he's put himself into this position right now. The mental resilience and strength in the harshest of spotlights. Maguire's an example to people, and I'm very happy that he has been given that 1-year extension. I don't think that United need to look at a central centre-back. We've got De Ligt and we've got... De Ligt has actually been playing as a wide centre-back, but De Ligt and Maguire as those two positions, fantastic. And you know what? Maguire missed 2 full training sessions this week. Easily could have gone to Amorim and said, I'm not feeling particularly well. I'm feeling a bit rough, actually. I'm not feeling quite up for this game. Having missed 2 training sessions, you couldn't begrudge him for doing that. But he put himself on the line and played 104 minutes. That is an example to other players. And I look at his defensive partner. And I just saw somebody comment in there. Who was it? Where is it? Just saw the comment and it's just disappeared now. Can't remember who it was, sorry. Somebody said, Sam, I remember you saying that you could see De Ligt as future United captain, and I see it now. De Ligt, again, is not doing anything that has shocked or surprised me. De Ligt's box defending was just phenomenal. You know how, like, Graham Souness called him a lightweight defender? Like, anybody who's watched anything of De Ligt in his career is the complete opposite of what he is. He is a very engaged defender. He likes getting into scraps. He gets into duels. He loves that shit. That's what he lives for. And that reaction to that block was just phenomenal. Someone saying, whose legs are those? Is that Trossard? I think it was Trossard he got in front of. The reaction to that block. Just the overall defensive performance of Maguire and De Ligt. And as well, Martinez just... United defended with 10 men for 60 minutes. Again, yeah, sure, this Arsenal team doesn't have Saka. Sure, this Arsenal team have problems. But we went to Arsenal a few weeks ago and we conceded from 2 set pieces. And I'm sure you did the same as me, and especially the one that was, right at the end of the game when Arsenal got a corner. I was sitting there watching like, Please no, please no, please no, please no, please no, please no, please no. United defended the set pieces brilliantly. Maguire, for me, was the best defender, but so many of those players just earned their stripes. Rob, you're saying it was a proper defence. It was everybody who was determined not to concede. And when you play as a collective like that, you make yourselves extremely difficult to beat. That's what a team is. Was it attacks win games and defence win titles? Did anybody actually ever say that? Or is that just one of those things that's been said so many times that you think it's real? I can't remember. Daniel was saying, Sam, do you think Harry's playing better now that he's in a back three? Yes. Maguire as the central centre-back is the ideal position for him. Progressively bringing the ball forward, dictating the tempo and the pace in the middle, but also having the runners out wide to cover the space and also having two centre-backs either side of him. Well, one centre-back either side of him to cover the ground. It suits him the best. Yeah, Alex, I thought it was Fergie who said that, but I can't remember actually seeing it anyway. I need to look at it. Anyway, let's speak about the actual man of the match. Bayindir. Halfway through that game, after Bayindir punched the ball in the air, I remember, I think I tweeted, I was like, Bayindir, nope, sorry, done. No, don't care. That's what I said. I tweeted something like that. Bayindir had some sort of like mid-game redemption arc. After the Spurs game, when we conceded direct from a corner, Bayindir looked weak. It's a very difficult position to be a second-choice goalkeeper, isn't it? Because you have to just sit there on the sidelines, and then when you come in, you're expected to be top tier because you don't get the opportunities all that often. But that penalty save, and by the way, look, that's what I mean about United, actually. United's social admins taking on a bit more personality. They've made the header on Twitter, that penalty save from Bayindir. Both penalty saves were outrageously good. They were pretty good penalties, especially Odegaard's, right in the corner. But Bayindir came through it all. And again, a massive show of mental resilience and strength. And you can see this all across the pitch. I'm going to be speaking about Zirkzee next. I've just spoken about Bayindir. I've just previously spoken about Maguire. These are the things that are going to change the culture of Manchester United. It has to come from within, right? From the top down, you need the right people. And there's still a lot of problems at United with Ineos from the top down. It's certainly better than it was a year before, but there's certainly still more that needs to be done. But for United to truly change, the desire for change has to come from the top down, from Ineos, from the ownership, from Amorim. It's also got to come from the bottom up. It has to come from the players too. And I think that's something that I think we've started to see in these last couple of games. Let me read some more. I feel like I've been preaching at you. Let me read some comments out. Bayindir should be in the cup games. He deserves it. I completely agree with that, Ebifemi now. Previously I've said about what's the point in a second choice goalkeeper? What's the point in rotating? When a player puts in a performance like that and a result like that, I think it would be unfair from a management perspective not to reward it. And I'm not sure that would send out the right message. So I fully expect Bayindir to be in goal against Leicester. And by the way, Ruud van Nistelrooy's Leicester. Of course it is. We get Ruud back at Old Trafford. Love you, Ruud, but I hope you get pumped. Sam, did you see the news about United and Malacia? We're speaking about that towards the end of the show. There's too much to speak about from the game. Bayindir's our new Romero. Hold the front door. It's got some way to go there. Right? Some way to go there. Give Bayindir time like Onana. Give all players time. You want to speak about players getting time? I was genuinely embarrassed for United fans and ashamed, if I'm being completely honest, about how they treated Zirkzee when he got hooked against Newcastle. fans have reached a frustrated point after all the years and after the way that we had played and the results that we had had. All of it got taken out on Zirkzee, who got taken off against Newcastle. Like, you're fucking idiots, man, as fans, to do that. But Zirkzee came off the bench yesterday, and in really difficult circumstances, by the way. Højlund, I still think Højlund can do so much more when he actually gets the ball. When it comes towards him, I don't think he's doing enough with his own body physically and using it. However, when Zirkzee came off the bench, he played really well. That bit where he megged, I think it was Saliba, then cut it back in the build-up to the goal. Fantastic. And Zirkzee, to put his name down for the 5th penalty, that is a massive show of strength and resilience. After what happened, and by the way, big up to the away fans who cheered and chanted Zirkzee's name at Anfield. Big up to the away fans, all 8,000 of them at the Emirates, who enjoyed themselves, who cheered on. It makes a difference to these players. I will never, and I've said this, I will never ever write a United player off in their first season at our football club, because I know, I don't actually know, I know from a fan's perspective how difficult it is to be a Manchester United player, and certainly in this era that we're in right now. And I won't ever write a player off. Did anybody else enjoy the celebration? Arsenal fans Arsenal fans are pissed. Can I just quickly say that? It's good to see all of them. I mean, I've seen Arteta out everywhere. Welcome back. 5 years into the Arteta project. Welcome back. You couldn't even win the league and stop City winning the league, you crap little football club. Anyway. Zirkzee enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. And I loved that celebration. And I loved just the celebration from Zirkzee, all the players going around him. It was just Zirkzee, Bayindir, Maguire. 3 players who really have shown some massive mental resilience and strength. Because it's not easy. If it was easy being a Manchester United player, everyone would do it. If it was easy being a Manchester United player, we would have won the league in the last 11 years. But it's not. And it is, the scrutiny at United is fiercer than anywhere else. Let me see what you're saying down here. AFTV must be a funeral home this morning. If you can't rib your rivals when you've done them in their own backyard, then you never can. It's part of football, right? And I'd expect it coming back at United. Look, it's the way it works. So enjoy it when you can. Jomo saying your hate for Arsenal is legendary, Sam. It's just, I've never understood. Like, I've already told you this story before. Lived with a bloke called Nars at uni. Arsenal fan. Even when we beat them 8-2, he still had gas. He still had energy to come at me. I'm like, dude, we just pumped you 8-2. How can you possibly have any oxygen? How can you possibly come at me? Yet still they came. That's what Arsenal fans are like. Like, you haven't... I don't even know the last time they won the league. What was it? 2004? Garnacho was an embryo. That was the last time you won the league. You insignificant, annoying... It's like a big wasp. That's what they are. Big wasp. No one likes wasps. They're really annoying, though. That's what Arsenal fans are. Anyway. Big up to... Everyone say big up to Ronnie. Because Ronnie, who's a big part of United People's TV and the team in the background, he hates Arsenal more than I do. And I gave him my ticket yesterday. And he went. And it was his first away game. You chose a good one, Ronnie. And now you got a 100% win rate, which means you're going to have to go to every single away game ever. All right. And yeah, we're speaking about players overcoming adversity. That feels like what this game was. Garnacho. We know what happened with Garnacho. Garnacho was dropped and kicked out of the squad against City because he wasn't doing it in training. So was Rashford. Both of them kicked to the sidelines. What's the response going to be? What's the reaction going to be? Well done, Garnacho. Great assist. Had his head up. You know, that's something that we've said about Garnacho a lot of the time. Anytime he's had the ball and he's running down and he's bearing down on an opposition defence, he's head down. He's just looking at what he's doing. He's looking at his own feet and the ball. Wasn't the case. Head up, Bruno. Good pass in. And the finish from Bruno. 40 minutes into the show and I've only just mentioned that finish from Bruno. Amazing. But Garnacho, credit to you. Use that as energy for yourself internally. He's fought his way back into the team. Amorim's not going to give him a chance just because he's Alejandro Garnacho. He kicked him out of the team. No player is going to get a free pass. Garnacho's earned his place back in this team. And he deserves the credit. Langaruni saying that cutback was the exact same as Zirkzee to Maguire. No, it wasn't quite the exact same. But can I just say that I'm going to pull out... I forgot this tweet. Let me pull out this tweet from United. Again, as I said, United had a good time on social media yesterday. This one about Bruno, they were giggling when they put this out. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Because you remember when Arteta was moaning at the ball. Damn it. I got back too far. This is why you need to prepare yourself before a show, Sam. There we go. Found it. This is why it takes so long to get a show ready. This ball flies a lot, they said. That was a verbatim quote from Arteta before the game complaining about the ball. But the finish on that. Bruno's a nutcase, isn't he? He's a great nutcase. He's my nutcase. But he's a nutcase. That you could see Bruno have so many easier shots than that. And they'll just he'll sky them. And then he gets that one and just a worldy of a finish. At pace, on the move, first time. Perfect. And 8,000 United fans in the Emirates exploded. What a moment, what a goal, and what a player. And I've always had the energy to defend Bruno Fernandes. It's never really wavered. I know it's wavered for a lot of people, but anybody who's been following United People's TV for long enough will know that it's never really. I think at points this season, I've questioned it more than ever. But when you get this United team to where Amorim wants it to be, and that is in control of it, because we weren't in control of that football game yesterday. We gave a lot of the ball away. We sat in a deeper back five. But when we're an Amorim team next season, more so, and we have a lot more of the ball, the best parts of Bruno come when United are in possession, and the worst parts of Bruno come when United are out of possession. That was an incredible finish from an incredible player. Amazing. And as I said, there's so many people that I could speak about from that game. Individuals. Collier deserves real credit and praise, and I think it marks a little bit of a shift from Ruben Amorim. Ruben has fairly given everybody opportunities inside the squad. And that includes the senior players. Casemiro and Eriksen. I was surprised. I think that was a mistake that Amorim made. Giving Casemiro and Eriksen the opportunity to play again together and to do it against a Newcastle when they had a midfield that had Joe Linton and Bruno Guimaraes in, it was never going to work. Collier came off the bench in the 80th minute and added so much. Collier strikes me as a perfect understudy to Ugarte. That's how I'm looking at it in the squad sort of building selection, if you want to call it that. Ugarte is our first choice in that position. Collier can be an understudy in the games where we might need to rest Ugarte. He's not a Mainu replacement. He's not technically as quality as Mainu is on the ball. But from a squad building perspective, Collier strikes me, and always has. And I think his reintroduction, I'll tell you what, right? You look at Leny Yoro. When did Leny Yoro come off the bench yesterday? I can't remember. Was it in extra time or was it in the 80th minute? Don't know. Yoro's time is being managed very, very carefully by the club. So many games where I think Yoro's going to start and he's not starting. That's not because Amorim doesn't rate him or he doesn't want to give him opportunities. It's because he's getting his minutes really managed, maybe better than we have done previously when we put players back in too quickly. And Toby Collier had an injury. So maybe it's a case of Collier. Just being managed a little bit better. Maybe his minutes are just getting managed because when he came off the bench yesterday, looked phenomenal. And there's quite a few down there. Alex, you said the 80th minute. I think you've retracted that message now because you got it all wrong. I think Yoro came on in extra time. And why are these getting refreshed now? Where's this photo? As I said, this is probably a record for the amount of tabs I've got open. That's how many talking points I thought there were from yesterday. But I want to speak about this bloke. Because the absolute cojones to come off the bench as a defender and to take a penalty in the way that he did. Yeah. By the way, all of those penalties were fantastic. And that in itself is impressive. Was it, when was it? Last season, the season before? Was it last season? When we beat Brighton on penalties at Wembley. I was at that game. Watching United in a penalty shootout live. Yeah. Because I've still got PTSD from that Villarreal game. But we did it again there. Yeah, Yoro did want to take a penalty. I think it's just fantastic from him. But I'll go over it again and again and again. We've had false dawns before. Many a false dawn. We've had good managers before, and it's not quite worked out. I'm not saying United are back, so don't put words in my mouth. But what I've seen against Liverpool and what I've seen against Arsenal is something a bit new. Something that has been missing, and it's all about the mental strength. You don't get that result against Arsenal yesterday without it. We would have collapsed. And maybe if Bayindir didn't save that penalty, we would have collapsed. I think the Bayindir penalty save was the ripple effect in that game. Had we gone 2-1 down there, I think it would have been difficult for United mentally to recover and turn that game around. But United used the energy from that penalty save to do so. Because, the low man. I mean, what went through his mind there? Not what should have gone through his mind. He is a good enough professional to know that that is not the right decision to be taking in that moment. But instead of it making these players collapse, right? I've got so many tabs, I can't even click on them now. These players fought through it. Monty, you going down there saying Southampton on Thursday, how are we feeling? I can't wait for it. I cannot wait for kickoff on Thursday. I feared whether these players would continue that attitude from Liverpool to Arsenal. But if anything, I think it was more impressive against Arsenal. to do that with 10 men and fight the way that they did from the first minute to the last minute was just something new. Let me see what you're saying down here in the comments. Anybody who's got any questions you'd like to ask me about any individual performances or anything that happened yesterday, I'll open up the floor. For 5 minutes now, I'll just read through your questions that you ask. All right? And they're all going to be about the game yesterday. Nice little bit of the show. How did Amorim react to Dalot when he walked off? I don't know. I didn't see on that. Jonathan's saying, definitely got a structure and a defence that's organised now. Next step is dominating on the front foot. That's what I mean about building your foundations before you put the windows in. Whatever the house analogy makes sense in my head. But our foundations were built on sand previously. Now it looks like we're starting to get some rocks. Do I think Garnacho turned a corner yesterday, says Alex. We can't know that off the back of one game. But Garnacho has an opportunity now to use that as a turning point. It's up to him how he takes the energy from that game forward. It was up to him how he reacted to being dropped against City. And clearly, he's taken it well. Now, whether he can turn that performance into something that moves forward is, again, completely up to him. A lot of it's on the players themselves. Sam, what's your preferred back three? Preferred back three is Martinez. It's hard, that one. I think right now it's Martinez, Maguire, De Ligt. But of course, I want Yoro as that right centre-back. And this is what you should have in a good squad, man. All right? We should need these problems. I want De Ligt and Maguire both in my starting 11 right now, but if everybody's fit, I can't really fit them both in. So I'm probably going to... am I going to bench De Ligt or am I going to bench Maguire? Right now, I'm probably going to put Maguire in. The right sorts of problems. We haven't had this. We haven't had that for a long-ass time. That's what managers want. They want so many players that are in form that they have to leave out players that they don't want to. It's been a long time since we've been able to say that. Yus is saying Ugarte is a beast, Sam, a blueprint of an Ineos signing players. Ugarte, another perfect example of the pressure that instant expectation and gratification creates for players is insane. Like so many United fans, I can't speak for anybody in the community here, but I've seen it. So many United fans will just expect an Ugarte to be a 10 out of 10 straight away. And if he's not a 10 out of 10 straight away, he's a waste of money. Let's go and sign somebody else. And it's just not based in reality. It takes players time. New country. Like, imagine you had a job that was... imagine you had a job where it was completely in the public eye, and for that job, you had to move your family and move country into a country where you don't speak the native language. And you were expected to be equally as good at your job with a brand new team, in a brand new environment, a brand new manager, with a brand new house and country and new language immediately. And you're not. And it's tough. Right? Footballers are humans. And at United, there is just no room for forgiveness. Ugarte has settled in brilliantly. I don't even think he was that bad at the start. I really don't think he was awful. But he's incredible now. What else is he saying down there? Do you think some of the signings made in the last window had Amorim in mind? I mean, you can kind of look at it like that. I do think there's still a lot that needs to go on with this squad. All right. And I'll mention a little bit on transfers towards the end of the show here, because it is a transfer window. We've got 18 days. And I do expect United to be busy. John's saying Zirkzee is going to become one of our most important players. Look, so many of these players have had to deal with individual adversity, with personal adversity. And some of them have dealt with it really well. But what we saw yesterday and what we saw against Liverpool and what we're starting to see is this team play as a team. to deal with team adversity in the way that we dealt with it yesterday was brilliant. And that's something that I will defend. I'll go back to that one more time. If I see United players play like that, I will defend them. Every single week. I'll get into arguments with anybody. And that makes a difference because that sort of support will rub off onto the players. Just in the same way that criticism does rub off onto the players. Right, let me see what you're saying down here in the comments. Finally replaced Herrera with Ugarte. That's kind of what it feels like, but Ugarte is a lot stronger defensively. And is a very, very good example. What are your thoughts on Fernandes fighting with the ref and getting a yellow? Bruno's always got his heart on his sleeve, man. He was forgiven. And I think the ref kind of knew that he made a mistake straight away, didn't he? Otherwise, Bruno would have got a yellow as soon as he threw that boot down. But he didn't. And he did it twice. But, well, that was a problem. Now, 2 quick transfer things I want to speak about to end the show. Number 1, Rashford. He was asked about Rashford's future after the game. There's lots of videos I could have done over the weekend about interest from Monaco, interest from Barcelona, apparently, who, by the way, have managed to register Dani Olmo somehow. Who are they noshing off behind? Whose levers are they pulling? They're pulling plenty of levers, I think. Anyway, all jokes aside. Rashford, still no move for Marcus Rashford. Let's see what goes on next with him. But also, a little bit of a random one here. Fabrizio's saying that Malacia could be leaving if a good proposal comes in, even an initial loan with a buy clause. And I can't be surprised at that. Malacia is not going to be a Manchester United player next year. Whether that happens in January or whether that happens in the summer remains to be seen. But I believe that Amorim will be looking at this squad and saying, or maybe not. Any minutes that Malacia could be given, we can probably give those to Kokonki. Although Malacia came on yesterday, I actually think he played pretty well. But if Malacia does go, we need a new left wing back. You see Alvaro Fernandes won the Portuguese League Cup. I don't actually know what it's called. But won that by beating Sporting at the weekend. Transfers are going to happen in January. In an ideal world, I keep saying it, it will be 2 in, 2 out. An ideal / realistic. The best case scenario I think that could happen is 2 in, 2 out. Rashford and Casemiro leaving, with United signing a left wing back and United signing a striker. Sam, stop writing off players. See Bayindir, Wan-Bissaka and Maguire. Look, thank you, Captain Hindsight Darrell in the comments. I definitely wrote off Wan-Bissaka. I don't think I was wrong. Wan-Bissaka's not a United player anymore. United are a better team as a consequence. Definitely proved me wrong in the fact that I didn't think he could develop somewhat under Ten Hag, but I wasn't wrong overall. United needed to move Wan-Bissaka on. Maguire, humble pie. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Bayindir, man of the match performance. Do I think he'll be, would I put money on him being a United player next year? No, I wouldn't. Because I think he probably feels that he's too good to be a number 2. We'll see. Either way, ladies and gents, we have had many a Monday on this channel as a community that's been awful. Awful, awful, awful. Go and rub it in the face of every Arsenal fan you know, because you know full well if it was on the flip side, they'd be doing the same thing. It's good to see Arsenal fans going back into meltdown where they belong. And to see United fighting in the way that they did to battle for that victory was a big step. And we built on what we saw against Liverpool. Now, my lunchtime video, I'm really going to look forward to doing this today. It's going to be a quick summary of the 5 main big talking points from that game. If you can, I've only asked this at the end of the video now, an hour in, please drop a like on the video. It makes a big, big difference to this community. I'm going to keep working in the background to try and fix any more problems that the hackers created, because there were more problems. There are some more, there's more damage than I want there to be. But I'm going to keep working to try and resolve it and then kick forward. And hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, we can look back at this and go, wow, that was annoying, but we got over it. That's what I'm trying to do. Big up to all of you. Big up to United. Big up to Amorim. More of that. Because if you play like that, I will defend you as a fan. Take it easy, everyone.